Words cannot hurt us. Words can't trigger an emotional response. Only truth can. Even if the intention is the darkest flavour of evil in the one who does the speaking, if there was no truth contained within the resonance of the words, then there can be no emotional response. But when the truth hits, you feel it, right? That can be in a positive way, but a lot of the time it's in what we are calling a negative way. The reaction, the bodily, somatic response. You feel like you've been punched in the stomach or stabbed in the heart. The truth hurts because it has to. The world desensitizes us and lulls us into semi-waking state, a slumber. I've got news for you. The roles that you have played in this life are not going to cut it. The ways that you learned to feel somewhat satisfied as opposed to destitute and nihilistic, apathetic. It's not real. The excuses you use for not living free of expectations or outside of the ability to be affected by the opinions of others. It's not just a right, it's a responsibility. We don't need people pleasers, yes men, because there's a lot of no that needs to be spoken in this world. I don't know if you've noticed. So, the time for bullshitting has been and gone. Radical honesty is the only way to survive in the world that is being created. My Facebook profile is testament to the fact that the truth doesn't have many friends. In the battle to acknowledge my worth, Facebook has been a great training ground because when you can observe and see that jokes get far more of a response than real, you can see how the world tempts us to seek validation and be more worldly. I could post memes 24 hours a day, and eventually my Facebook profile would end up getting monetized. I could cater to the masses intentionally, the lowest common denominator. We all need to laugh, right? But mostly, we need to know what is real. And then, the truth shall set you free. First it will piss you off, and then you're free to laugh. I have lived, and for the most part unaware, but I've lived as a ninja, an assassin, like freely roaming about in the shadows of other people's thought life, popping up in people's imaginations, and then just firing decapitating, defeating ego, a magician, yeah, because I claim and own my magic. So, God, source, the creator, allows me to appear in certain ways which play into people's preconceived ideas about who I am, so that they can. One of my favourite quotes is this, right? Let people do as they will, so you can see what they would rather do. So I always do what I would rather do. I'll just be me. I allow life to utilise me and all of my magnificent abilities in whatever way is necessary. Understanding that love takes many forms. So I silently call people's bluff. I invite what they are prepared to present, and I say, okay. I don't say, and this is important, it's more about the things that I don't reveal, right? And I'm not consciously hiding anything. I will happily go and connect with a man for the first time and say to his face, don't you dare lie to me, because I see everything. But God informs my choices, my movements, my speech. So for the most part, I don't play my whole hand. I don't reveal my cards. Because how else do people learn? Other than being allowed to pretend, up to the point where there's no excuses, no going back, and no, we can't pretend anymore. And now you sit with that, and then before you know it, I, on the other side of the world, no access. Because that's how God works. So, all these personas, these false personality constructs, relative to who we think we are, who we want to appear as, they crumble. Which is a very fortunate thing, because if they did not, we would just be living in a world of bullshit, which is not separate from the television programming of an idealistic bubble of self-delusion. Life is a movie, but it's not formulaic like all those films that came before, the patterns. It's not like that. It's a self-directed movie. I, you, we are the main character and the director. A lot of humans seem to be satisfied with settling for just being a main-ish character. Or they want to be a main character in someone else's story and become a background character in their own. The hero archetype. Rescuing the princess from the tower. No. It's not about a knight on a white horse, scaling the steps of a tower after defeating a dragon. It's about a man becoming a dragon and setting fire to the tower until it falls down and the princess is left scratching her head in rubble, and then decides to pick herself up, dust off her petticoat, and steal the knight's horse. Something like that. There was one woman that ignited the greatest love I've ever known. When I separated the idea that this was love for her exclusively, as opposed to love for life, love for love, love for me, love for God, it set me free. But in the process of that, a lot had to be dismantled. The role that I wanted to play in order to be received and viewed in a certain way. I abandoned myself within that for a time. We have to get lost in order to be found. Sometimes we have to think that we are not lost in order to be cast further adrift, in order to fully come home. So, absolutely we should be prepared to abandon ourselves in love, but only if we know that it's possible to retrieve ourselves. We are set up, designed. We possess a template. We are a template for greatness. But we've also been blessed with the luxury of choice in this life. We can stay stuck, frozen in, being a mother, being a partner, being a son. We can choose to stay stuck in any of those roles, but we can never be a fully assimilated whole being in and of itself if we rely on these formulas. The need to feel needed, the need to appear a certain way, any other way than who we actually are. We came here to know love, and in order to do that, we have to understand that we are love and we are the knowing. So what do you think about that?